So in the previous lecture, we have discussed about the working of the half wave rectifier. I already mentioned that our AC voltage, that is the mains voltage, 230 volt, is applied to the primary of the transformer, and in the secondary, the voltage is going to be induced. This voltage is given as Vs, and it is mathematically represented as Vm sin omega t. So here this Vs voltage is like this, and here we have a maximum voltage Vm. So whenever the secondary voltage, in secondary voltage we have a positive cycle will be there, then this diode will be in a forward bias, and there will be a flow of a current. This current is known as a load current. So this load current is flowing through the load resistance RL. It is going to be entered from this point. So this terminal of the rectifier is going to be a positive, and the current is coming out from this RL, and it will back to the transformer. Here this terminal is going to be a negative. So during this positive cycle, the current will flow like this, and then whenever the negative cycle will be there, the diode will work as a open circuit. It will be in a reverse bias. No current is going to be flow. So here the output current, load current is 0. Again the positive cycle, the current will flow like this, and for the negative cycle, the current will be 0. Now here we have seen that whatever the output current is there, this output current is not a pure DC current, because in DC current the magnitude will remain constant. Here this current is go on increasing, then it will decreasing. Here this current is increasing, then decreasing, become a 0, again increase, decrease, become a 0. So it has some characteristics of a AC voltage. But this current is not changing the direction. It is not going from positive to negative. Correct? So it has a characteristics of a DC. So whatever the current we obtain in the rectifier, it is not a pure AC, it is not a pure DC, it is a combination of a AC voltage and a DC voltage. This is also sometimes known as a pulsating DC. Correct? So rectifier is not providing a pure DC. Now here we want to find out how much amount of the AC component is present. Correct? So in a last lecture I already mentioned that how to write the expression for the load current. Here if I want to write the expression for the load current, then what is my input voltage? That is a Vs. So Vs voltage is given as a Vm sin omega t. And what is Vm? That is the peak value. Now the current, load current IL is given by according to Ohm's law, voltage divided by resistance. But here the resistance means we have to consider the total resistance of a circuit, because the load current is not flowing in the load only in load resistance RL, but it is also passing through the secondary of the transformer as well as the diode. So here let us say the forward bias resistance of the diode is RL, secondary resistance of a transformer is RS, then this is written as RL plus RF plus RS. This is equal to a Vm sin omega t divided by RL plus RF plus RS. And now we know that Vm is representing a maximum voltage divided by the total resistance of the circuit. That will provide you a maximum current. So here this load current I can write as IL equal to Im sin omega t, where Im is defined as Vm divided by RL plus RF plus RS. Now, here, whatever the expression we have mentioned, this expression is not correct for a one complete cycle. Remember, here IL is equal to Im sin omega t is valid only if the omega t is between 0 to pi. And between the pi and 2 pi, the current is 0. So this expression is not valid for a one complete cycle. So this load current of the half-wave rectifier we can write as IL1 is equal to Im sin omega t if the omega t is between 0 and pi. And IL2 you can say it is 0 if the omega t is between pi and 2 pi. So this is the correct expression for the load current. Okay? So once you got the expression for the load current, now we can calculate that what will be the DC current. Now remember, DC current is nothing but sometimes it is also known as the average value of the current. So here in this half-wave rectifier, whatever the current is there, this current is flowing like this. So here if you find out the average of this current for a one complete cycle, then it is known as the DC current of the rectifier or the average value of the current of a rectifier. So now we will calculate what is the average value of the current. Average current or a DC current of the rectifier. Now in mathematics, how we find out the average value? Suppose we have a 5 data x1, x2, x3, x4 and x5. So what we do? We take the summation of all this data and then we divide by 5. That will give you the average. The same way here also we will find out the average current. So how we can find out? So here whatever the current is there, in this current we have different value of the load current. This is my IL1 is there, IL2, IL3, IL4, IL5 like this. This is a different value of the currents are present. So I have to take the summation of all these current. So in mathematics, if this is a continuous function, then you can take the summation by taking the integration. So again I repeat, here we have different value of the load current, IL1, IL2, IL3, IL4, IL5, all these different currents are there. So we are finding a summation of all this current for a one complete cycle. And that summation we can do it with the help of a integration. So here if I will write, then the DC current is given as IDC equal to a integration of a load current with respect to omega t, and I am taking a summation of a one complete cycle. So this limit will be from 0 to 2 pi. And then we divide by 2 pi. So how many number of the data are there? We are taking a summation up to a 2 pi. So we divide by 2 pi, then this integration will give you the average value of the current. Okay? So now here this is equal to 1 upon 2 pi into bracket. Now whatever the value of the IL is there, we have two different value of IL between 0 to 2 pi. So we will divide this integration. One of the integration will be from 0 to pi IL1 d omega t, plus another integration will be from pi to 2 pi IL2 d omega t. This is equal to 1 upon 2 pi. Now 0 to pi. What is the value of IL1? IL1 we know that it is a Im sin omega t d omega t plus pi to 2 pi. Value of the IL2 is 0 d omega t. And here naturally this integration value is going to be 0. I have to integrate only this thing, and Im is a constant, so I will write Im by 2 pi, and I have to integrate sin omega t. Integration of sin omega t is nothing but it is a minus cos omega t. Limit is from limit is from 0 to pi. This is equal to, we can write Im by 2 pi into bracket minus cos pi minus into minus cos 0. We put this limit of integration. So here you will get Im by 2 pi and this bracket cos pi will be a minus 1 and again minus, so it will be a plus 1. Cos 0 is 1, then minus minus plus 1 will be there. And here this plus 2, this is equal to 2. So this and this will be cancelled. So we can say that the DC current of this rectifier is given by Im by pi. So that level here in this waveform, if we see, then that level will be somewhere here. This is my DC current in the rectifier. And what is the Im? Im we know that it is nothing but Vn by Rn plus Rn plus Rs. So we sometimes it is also written as IDC is equal to Vm by pi into Rn plus Rs plus Rs. So if you want to calculate the average value of the current, you can use this formula. Now this formula is very useful in the objective. Sometimes the value in the objective, value of the DC current is given to you and you have to find out what is the peak value. If the peak value of the current is given, then you have to calculate what is the DC current. So this will be helpful to you to solve this number of the numericals. Okay. Now we will calculate another parameter, and that is the RMS value of the current. Because whatever the load current is there, it is not a DC, it is also a AC. So we have to find out what is the RMS value of the current. So second parameter is RMS current. RMS current already you know that it is known as a root mean square. It is known as a root mean square value. Correct? So here IRMS is defined as. Now remember why we have to calculate the RMS value. RMS value is actually indicating what? That whatever the power is dissipating, that power is not dissipating according to whatever the waveform we have. Remember, here if you see the value of the current is increasing, it doesn't mean the power dissipation is also go on increasing. And here the current is decreasing, doesn't mean the power is also decreasing. There is a constant power dissipation in the loop, and that constant power dissipation is not according to the instantaneous value. Remember, it is not according to the instantaneous value. But this power dissipation is according to some constant value, and that is the RMS value of the current. And that's why here we have to calculate the RMS current. Okay. So according to the RMS, definition of the RMS, we have to take the square of the function first of all. Then we will take a mean, and then we take the root. So what is my function? Function is a load current IL. So I will take the square of this, and that is the IL square. Now mean. Mean means what? Average. And just now I already mentioned, average means you have to take the summation of all the components and then divide by 2 pi. So it will be that summation, you can take it with the help of the integration. So if I will take the integration from 0 to 2 pi, and if I will divide by 2 pi, then this will give you a mean of the square term. And then we take the root. So here, this root or this expression will give you a RMS value of the current. I will write it again, that IRMS equal to 1 upon 2 pi integration from 0 to 2 pi IL square d omega t. Now we have to solve this integration. So again, here we have two different values of the load current. So I have to divide this integration in two parts, 0 to pi IL1 square d omega t plus pi to 2 pi IL2 square d omega t. Now what is IL1? That is In sin omega t. So here 1 upon 2 pi, this integration 0 to pi In square sin square omega t d omega t plus the integration is from pi to 2 pi. But what is the value of pi into? It is 0. So this integration value comes out to be a 0. Now in the first integration, if you see, then this is In square is a constant quantity, In square by 2 pi will be there, and now we have to take the integration of sin square omega t. So instead of sin square omega t, in trigonometry we can write 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2. 1 minus cos 2 omega t divided by 2. And now if we take this integration, this is In square by 2 pi into bracket, the integration of 1, that will be a omega t, because we are doing the integration with respect to omega t. So this will be omega t by 2. Integration of cos 2 omega t will be a sin 2 omega t divided by 4, and this will be from 0 to pi. So now you put this value of the limit, and this is equal to In square by 2 pi. Now into bracket, omega t is equal to pi, so you will get the first term pi by 2. Then here we have sin 2 pi, then that term is going to be a 0. Then we put the lower limit, omega t is equal to 0, it will be also a 0. Then the sin 0 will be also a 0. So the bracket value will be only a pi by 2. And here, this pi and pi will be cancelled. The 2 into 2 will be 4. So here you will get this is equal to Im by 2. So you can say the RMS value of this current is Im by 2. And that value of the current in this waveform will be roughly here. This is representing a RMS value of the current. Correct? So in this way, whatever the load current is there, in this load current we find out what is the DC component and what is the AC current, what is the RMS value of the AC current. So once you know these two currents, then we can define what is the rectification efficiency. So what is the efficiency here in this case? Normally in physics, the efficiency we define as a output parameter divided by the input parameter. Here our output parameter, remember that output parameter, that is my a DC power in the load. And the input parameter means the AC power. AC power from the secondary of the transformer. So how much amount of your AC energy is converted into DC energy, that is known as a rectification efficiency. So remember that amount of AC energy converted into DC energy is called efficiency of rectifier. So we can define in this way eta, that is a eta equal to, it is a ratio of a DC power to AC power. DC power means we obtain in a load resistance RL. So that is a DC power in load RL divided by the AC power from secondary of transformer. And normally we represent the rectifier in percentage, efficiency in percentage, so you can multiply with 100. In short, it is calculated as a PDC by PAC multiplied by 100. So this is called a rectification efficiency. Now we will calculate what is the DC power and AC power. So the DC power. Now for the calculation of the power, we have three formulas. That is the I into V, V squared by R, or a I squared into R. Here we have a information about the current. So we use the formula I squared into R. Now for calculating a DC power, I have to consider a DC current, that is the I square DC. And this current, this power is dissipating into a load resistance RL. So I square DC into RL, this will give you a DC power. What is my IDC? IDC we have calculated, it is Im by pi whole square into RL. Then what is the AC power? For the AC power, we have to consider the AC current. AC current means the RMS value of the current, and that is the I square RMS. Now this AC current is flowing in the transformer, in a diode, as well as in the load resistance. So I have to consider all these resistance RL plus RF plus RS will be there, and RMS value of the current we have calculated, that is Im by 2 whole square into RL plus RL plus RL. So using this formula you can calculate the amount of the AC power given to the rectifier circuit. So the efficiency is PDC by PAC. So it is Im by pi whole square into RL divided by Im by 2 whole square into RL plus RL plus RS. So Im square will be cancelled, and you can have 4 by pi square into RL divided by RL plus RL plus RS. Or this is equal to, we can write 4 by pi square. If you calculate this numerical value, then it is 0.406, and if I will divide by RL, I will get 1 plus RL plus RS divided by RS, and for the percentage you can multiply with 100. So here efficiency will be 0.406 multiplied by 100, so you will get 40.6 divided by 1 plus RS plus RS divided by RS. This is important. So rectification efficiency of the half wave rectifier is 40.6%. The maximum efficiency, if we see, where you will get the maximum efficiency? If this value of RL is too much greater than RL plus RS, then we have maximum efficiency, and that is a 40.6%. Remember. So what does this mean? That efficiency is only 40% means whatever the amount of the AC energy we provide, only a 40% of the energy is converted into a DC. So here from the transformer, remember, from the transformer we provide a 100 watt of a AC power to the rectifier. Then in the load resistance RL we have maximum, that is a 40.6 watt of DC power. That is also in the ideal case. Remember, 40% is will be there, only value of the RL is very high. But if it is not there, then this efficiency will be round about 30 to 35%. Okay? So what does this mean? What about the rest of the 60% of the energy? Here efficiency is 40%, means 100 watt AC power at the input will give you a 40.6 watt of DC power in the output. Then what happens to the rest of the 60 watt of the energy? So remember, this 60 watt of the energy is not going to be dissipated in the form of the heat. That is what a general impression is there, that the rest of the energy will be dissipated. But here it is not dissipated. According to the definition, only 40% is converted into a DC. But the rest of the 60 watt is not rectified, and that will be present in the form of AC. Remember, 40% is converted into DC, but the 60% is not rectified, and as it is present in the output of the rectifier. So here we can see that this rectifier, that again the AC energy is greater than the DC energy. Normally in the rectifier circuit, what should happen? That the DC power should be more than the AC power. But here you are not getting a proper rectification, and therefore this rectifier is not widely used for making the power supply. That is one of the disadvantage of this rectifier, that efficiency is very low. Now in the next lecture, we will discuss about the ripple factor of a rectifier.